Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about 5 Italian created club teams that you can create on FIFA 22 that are both realistic and fun. As always, we've got a good selection of real and fake, new and old, so you're going to have something no matter what you like playing as on FIFA. We're going to be beginning with a very old and very real team. This is going to be Pro Vercelli from near Milan. So they play in a black and white striped kit, and they're one of the most successful teams in Italian football. They've got 7 Serie A titles, mainly between 1907 and 1930. They currently find themselves in Serie C after having some financial issues at the start of last decade. They've actually played in Serie B a couple of times over the past 5 years, but they find themselves back in Serie C now. Currently, every single player in their squad has the Italian nationality as their first choice. With such a local team, I think this is what you're going to need to try and do if you do play as this team on Create a Club, especially as Pro Vercelli were actually one of the last teams to win Serie A with a fully Italian team. So that should probably be your goal if you do decide to do this Create a Club. If you want an Italian team with really good history and potential to have really good rivals, as it is sandwiched almost the same distance from Turin and Milan, then I think you should try and make Pro Vercelli the best in Italy once again. Moving from northern Italy to the middle of southern Italy, we're going to be going to Castel di Sangro, who currently actually find themselves in the Italian 6th tier. So with thousands of teams above them in the pecking order, you might be wondering why I've actually suggested this team as one you should create and add into Serie A. Well, there's actually a really good Wikipedia article on them, and it's very rare for a club in the Italian 6th division to have this, and it is a really good story. I'll summarize it for you now, but make sure you do check it out if you do decide to do this team. So, long story short, a town of 5,500 people in a pretty remote area of Italy, right in the mountains in the dead center of southern Italy, has a football team. After decades of being a very average team, they managed to get promoted 5 times in 5 seasons with a lot of very homegrown talent. So they went from the 6th tier to Serie B in 1996. The amateur club managed to survive at Serie B, which is a very professional level, back in 1996 for 2 seasons. They managed this despite having players dying, having a boardroom scandal, and having by far the lowest budget at the level, as well as a tiny stadium that could only fit around 500 people in. They managed to do this for 2 seasons before capitulating and going right back to the division they found themselves in to start off with, in the 6th tier of Italian football. They managed to help launch the careers of famous players. You might know Carlo Cudicini or Iaquinta, who used to play up front for Juventus. So it would be an absolute miracle if these guys ever made it anywhere near Serie A. But that's your goal. Start off with the poorest squad you possibly can, try and survive in Serie A without getting fired, and try and give as many debuts as you can to youth players in the famous red and yellow striped kit. I think your rivals are going to have to be Napoli because A.S.D.V aren't on the game, unfortunately, but it's going to take you quite a few seasons to get to the same level as Naples. Heading up north along the Adriatic coast, we're going to be heading to the city of Rimini. So Rimini Calcio are currently a team that play in Serie D. This is the amateur level of Italian football. They play in a red and white quartered kit, and Rimini is actually the biggest Italian city to never play in Serie A. They're on the Adriatic coast, as I mentioned, so you could easily focus on signing young Italian, Slovenian, Croatian, Albanian, maybe Greek youngsters, trying to bring them all together and form a nice Adriatic-based squad. They do actually have a good reputation for doing this in real life. Very famous goalkeeper Samir Handanovic was actually on loan at Rimini in the past, where he made his international debut for Slovenia while playing for the club. I would consider giving yourself a decent budget if you do decide to use Rimini, just because of the capacity of their stadium being pretty high for the levels they've been playing at. I don't think you can talk about this part of Italy without moving on to the next club, who's going to be kind of similar to Rimini in a lot of ways. A.S.D.V San Marino are of course a club based in the tiny nation of San Marino. They have a notoriously bad national team. I'm sure you've probably seen any European team absolutely crushing them 8 or 9-0, but up until 2019 they actually had a team that played in the Italian leagues. The team went bust but has been refounded in 2021, so you can do a club and country maybe if you're playing a modded version of FIFA on PC, but either way, you've got a brand new club with no history, based in a tiny nation, and what's more fun than that? If you are on PC, as I said, you should definitely mod your Youth Academy Scout so you can scout San Marino, but you can also look for a list of San Marino based names. Quite a lot of them are also going to be Italian names, so you can just try and maybe justify that your Italian players are half San Marino or something like that. But I really do think adding San Marino to Serie A, trying to win the league, would be an amazing challenge. I can't think of too many countries where this would be possible. Obviously, Monaco's done it in France in the past, so maybe you could try and recreate what Monaco did to France with San Marino in Italy. I definitely think it would be a very, very fun save. Of course, you'd play in the national team's kit, which is light blue shirts and black shorts, with the goal of trying to get as many young players through your youth academy into your team as possible. It's a very good challenge, but though if you want a bit more realism, you should probably go for Rimini for this kind of save. But still, San Marino, while not maybe the most realistic save, I do think would be probably the most fun on this list. Finally, we've got a big name that actually hasn't been on FIFA for quite a few seasons now, and that's Palermo. Of course, they famously play in a pink and black kit, but they were a regular Serie A team until serious financial problems hit them over the last decade. They've had some very good FIFA players in the past. You probably know Pastore, Lavezzi, Micheli, Dybala and Belotti. So if you can get any of them back into your squad, you're instantly going to have a Serie A level player playing for their old team. Kind of realistic when you think about it. They're based in Sicily and they would have very poor finances, so you would have to try and find maybe the next Dybala from an Argentinian league or the next Pastore, Lavezzi. You know, they do focus on Italy and they do focus on Argentina for their players, so two places you could easily scout and keep it realistic. You're definitely going to have a tough time keeping up with any other team in the league with the finances that you should give yourself, which should be absolutely the lowest possible. Palermo have been struggling for 10-15 years now, relying on selling these good young players to bigger clubs just to stay afloat. You can pinpoint the time that they stopped being able to do this, and they got relegated and then relegated again and then got demoted because of financial irregularities. They really are struggling with cash, so make sure you don't do anything other than the very lowest setting with the highest financial pressure you can give yourself. If you want to try and recreate Palermo, again, super easy kit, pink top, black shorts, black socks, and just try and get back to the Serie A and the level they used to be with very good young players playing for Palermo. So that's 5 of the best clubs in my opinion that you can create if you want to create a club in the Italian nation. Now unfortunately there is only one league in Italy, so you can't do a road to glory really, so a lot of these you're going to be either very underclassed, it's kind of unrealistic they'd be in Serie A to start off with, or you're going to have to give yourself some bizarre restriction like finances just to try and keep it a bit more tough. If you got any suggestions for any other nations that you think I should do one of these for, I've already got one prepared for Germany and Spain and possibly the MLS if I can think of enough realistic clubs. Please do let me know in the comments, especially if you're from a nation like Ireland or Poland, something that a lot of people do play on those leagues, but they might not know too much about football teams that aren't in the game already. Then please do let us know because I'm sure a lot of people would love to read them. So thank you all for watching this far. If you made it to the end, please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video coming very soon. Thank you and goodbye.